Well, this morning, our cameras were rolling as construction crews removed a historic church bell from a St. Augustine church. It happened overnight and will be down for a few months as it undergoes maintenance. This bell is about 178 years old and was attached to the Trinity Parish. A Confederate general's remains have been exhumed, and they were buried under what was a memorial to General William Loring in downtown St. Augustine. His descendants asked for this because they didn't want his memorial to cause division. Our Jessica Clark was the only TV reporter allowed inside the fence.
A crane lifted a 14-ton concrete base of a Confederate memorial.
Do you see anything?
Just a depression in the dirt.
The memorial, which was moved earlier this week, was for Confederate General William Loring.
There had been newspaper articles that said this also was where his ashes were put, actually for the third time.
Ashes placed underneath the memorial.
This is the box.
Loring's descendants sent letters to the University of Florida asking for the remains and the memorial to be relocated outside of downtown St. Augustine. So an archaeologist and UF personnel carefully dug the newly exposed soil and found more than the general's remains. They found a nameplate that said General William reinterred.
So it's definitely what the earlier accounts suggested was under here.
They also found a broken sword and its scabbard or case.
That's the hand guard and the handle of the sword.
He even had a photo taken with his sword.
Do you know if that's the one that's here?
Hard to tell. There were two swords.
Other items were found as well. Hard to tell what they are because of water intrusion.
The swords are very rusted. They were already broken in place.
And all of the items that were found buried will be reburied with Loring's remains. So what was placed with him will stay with him.
We wanted to make sure that nothing or anything under the monument would be disturbed or overlooked or hurt in any way.
When the remains were found, those on site FaceTimed one of the general's descendants who seemed very happy about the actions. And then everything was respectfully placed in a hearse where the general will go to his new home. In St. Augustine, Jessica Clark, First Coast News on your side.